Hi guys, what's up? It's Nazarlen, and today we are going to talk how I learned Japanese by myself, even without studying it. Let's get started. Okay, I'll mention about my background, about the reasons to learn Japanese, the method itself, and the advantages and disadvantages of this method. Everything will be timestamped down below in the description, so you can start from the point you're interested in. So let's start from my Japanese background. I was going to a typical school in Ukraine without any Japanese course or program, so I wasn't really different from other children. At that time, my Japanese level was close to zero, but when I got into high school, I started to watch some anime. As I watched some anime, I was like, stop, why I'm watching anime with subtitles? What if I learn some Japanese? It will be much easier for me to understand the point of the anime, and it will be much more fun. So I was just taking some manga, Japanese comics, and I was just reading all classes, not paying any attention to a teacher. I was just interested in it. I started to learn Japanese because of anime. I know, I'm a bit weird. Majority of you already got it. In order to watch anime without subtitles. Watching anime is fun itself, but when you're constantly focused on these subtitles that are running on your screen, you're not really focused on the show itself. You may feel a bit tired after you watch some anime because you're just constantly reading without even watching it. If you're watching anime for 2 or 3 hours a day like I did before, it was really difficult for me. Just like, why do I have to read it? I wanna watch. The second reason is to visit or travel to Japan. If you're watching this video, you're probably interested in Japan. And of course, if you like anime, you're probably feeling yourself like going to Japan. But I want to mention that if you're visiting Japan without knowing any Japanese, you may have a lot of problems. For example, if you want to ask for some directions, and if you ask some Japanese people in English, they probably will be scared of you. Not because you're scared or something like that, because they're kinda a bit shy. There's no fact that they know some English. Third reason is for employment or education. If you're going to study or want to get a job in Japan, you definitely will have to have a great comprehension of Japanese language, because, for example, if you'll have to write a document or something like that, you'll have to use Japanese. You won't be able to use English. Because in Japan, there's only a minority of people who are able to speak English, so they probably will ask you to use Japanese. Okay, the disclaimer is that this technique is based on my own experience, so it doesn't mean that it will work for you guys. But don't worry guys, I'm going to talk about this topic a bit more later for absolute beginners. I'm going to make more videos about more techniques or things like that, so next week video is coming. The second is, if you're an absolute beginner, I recommend you to get N5 level on this scale. Because if you're an absolute beginner, it may be a bit difficult for you to apply this to your studies. So you have to know at least hiragana, katakana, and basic kanji. So before getting to this video, at least learn some katakana and hiragana. They're not so that difficult, so it probably will take 3 or 4 days for you, I think. Okay, let's talk about the method. The method itself is really simple. You have to choose what you're going to watch. It may be your favorite anime, your favorite YouTuber, TV program, whatever you want. There's no need for you to watch the same video or something like this. You can alternate between YouTube, Netflix or anime. But try to watch this in Japanese. Try to consume it in Japanese. When I was watching some anime and YouTube because TV programs were kinda really difficult for me at the time. After you have decided what you're going to watch, you can move to the next step. Step 2 is to watch it at a normal speed. And try to understand what they're talking about. Try to get into the point. Try to just make your brain think what they're discussing. Because at this point we are focusing on pronunciation and the flow of Japanese. So try to focus all your attention on what they are talking. Because we are here to study, not to have fun. Do this practice every single day. You can watch some YouTube for an hour. You can watch some anime for an hour. But try to consume information in Japanese as much as possible. Try to turn settings of your phone in Japanese. Try to read some things in Japanese. Try to show some information to your eyes in Japanese. If you like Japanese songs, you may listen to it, because as much as you're listening, your ears are getting used to it. And your pronunciation is getting better and better as much as you're listening. So simply try to make Japanese a part of your life. After doing this for a while, you can move to the next step. At this point, you're probably able to understand Japanese videos without subtitles, but what I want you to keep doing is to watch videos every single day for at least 1 hour. There's no need for you to watch something that is really complicated, you know. Just choose something that you really like to watch and keep doing it. Okay, and here you have to start talking to yourself in Japanese. After you have watched one episode of anime or something like this, try to explain what you have watched in Japanese. There's no need for you to make a great explanation on something like this. Just try to explain what you have felt with your own words. And when you're doing some basic things like walking, taking a shower or something like this, try to think and talk to yourself in Japanese. Try to explain what you're seeing. When I was studying Japanese, I was trying always to think what I'm going to wear or what I'm going to cook for lunch in Japanese. I was trying to say it to myself. I was just trying to get the flow of Japanese into my brain. You may feel yourself like a weirdo because of constantly talking to yourself, but don't worry, because I have been doing the same thing and that's alright, I don't feel any problems. After you have been doing it for a month or two, move to the next step. So step 4 is to start reading. If you like some anime but you don't like reading, there's no need for you to worry, because you can buy some manga. That's comics that are written in Japanese. But I'll be honest with you guys, people who are learning a new language and they're not reading, they're losing a lot. Because people who are reading something, they're just literally putting their brain into a new language. And there's no need for you to read a long book or something like that. Just read a short chapter or a short story and try to explain to yourself what you have read in Japanese. In my case, I was reading a lot of manga and I'm still doing it. Try to find what will be really enjoyable for you. Try to read what you really like. If it's news, read some news. If you like stories, try to read some stories. If you like manga, try to read some manga. It depends from you. And don't forget to watch videos for at least 1 hour a day. After this, you can move to the next step. At this point, you already should understand Japanese without any subtitles or something like that. And what you have to do is to speed up the speed of the video. I really like this because you can get much more information for less amount of time. I'm still doing it when I'm watching something in Ukrainian, Russian, English, Japanese, whatever, because it's just useful, you know. So after you have been doing it for a while, move to the next step. The next step is to keep doing it for a year. You have to keep reading, watching, listening, and talking to yourself for a year. If you're watching some videos, watch them for 1 hour. If you're listening to something, listen it for 1 hour. If you're reading something, you can read it one chapter or just a short story. It depends from you. But if you want greater results, thing is, the more you do, the better you're going to be. Don't forget to talk to yourself. It's the most important part, because after you have watched something, you have to release the information from yourself, you know. If you just put it into your brain, you'll forget it with time. But if you try to explain it, try to put it in words, your brain probably will memorize it better. The main point of this method is not ever using translator. You're creating Japanese brain here. You're trying to think in Japanese, as you see, because when you're translating something, you're returning to your own language and you still spend some efforts in order to translate. Try to use your own words as much as possible. Do not try to use translator every time when you're struggling. Try to explain it to yourself by other words. There's no need for you to use an exactly one word for things that you want to explain. Try to use a lot of words. It took me about a year to get fluent in Japanese, and at the beginning I was just talking about really simple things with myself. I was making some conversations, I was listening to someone, and after trying to say it by myself. As I was getting better and better in Japanese, I started to understand more complicated conversations because my vocabulary was expanding. At that time, I wasn't using translator. I was like a baby. I was trying to get information and try to understand that information in that language. I'm not a speaker right now or something like that, but I would say that I'm confident in my Japanese right now. Of course, if you want to cut some time or just boring for you to look for some videos, or you just may buy some courses or just go to Japan and study Japanese here. But you know guys, it's really cool that you're able to learn some Japanese or such a difficult language just for free. So you can buy some courses. But if you want to spend time with fun and your goal not time but fun, you can just use this method. So it's up to you. Let's talk about advantages and disadvantages of this method. Let's start with the advantages. First, it's fun. I mean, you can choose your favorite show or your favorite anime and just watch it. And that's everything that you have to do. I was watching a lot of anime, some Japanese TV programs, other YouTubers, and it was never boring to me. I was watching anime and I was having fun. And at the same time, my Japanese was getting better. The second advantage is it doesn't cost you anything. Everything that you need to have is your phone, internet connection, and you're ready to become fluent in Japanese. The third advantage is you'll be fluent in Japanese. I think it's real cool because just imagine you're watching anime with your friends and you're like, guys, turn off the subtitles. I'm going to translate. Looks like you're proud of your Japanese, but guys, it's cool, you know, there are not a lot of people who are able to speak Japanese fluently. Let's move to the disadvantages. And the first one, if you don't do extra studies on Japanese grammar, your grammar will suck. You know, my grammar is not the best, but I'm still gonna study it. I don't know why, but after I moved to Japan and I'm talking to someone, no one says like, man, you're wrong here, you're wrong there. Probably because Japanese people are shy, but I don't think that I'm making that much of mistakes. Okay, the second disadvantage is if you're an absolute beginner, this method is not for you. You have to have at least basic Japanese knowledge to apply this to your studies. Reach at least N5 level in this scale. It's Japanese language proficiency test. Enough to just go ahead. Last disadvantage is this is my own experience, so it's not based on some science evidence or something like that. If it's worked for me, it doesn't mean that it will work for you. But don't worry, because I'm going to upload more videos on this topic later. So just do not forget to subscribe, just smash that like button, write some comments, it will make me happy, and I'll make more videos about this topic. I think it was all for today. I hope you liked this video and give me some feedback, guys. What do you think about this method? I love you guys. Bye for now.